Okay, I know some of you are still working. That's okay. First time you work on these, it takes a long time, but the more you practice, the better you get at it. So I know that some of you, are like, well, this is going to take me forever. Well, once you get started in it and you know what you're doing, it does speed up a little bit. But if you're concerned, because next week we take a test on this, and we do that at the first. If you want to, if you can, and you want to come and start early, you can, or you can always finish up after class if you want to. I don't want you to feel rushed for time, though. If you come in here and you're working and you think, I need a break even. If you start working and you work for about an hour and you say, I just need to stop for a minute. That's fine. You can always stop and you can always go back and finish it, okay? Or like I said, if you'd like to come in early or if you'd like to come in at a different time. Some people just don't like to take the tests in the class. I understand that. We just set up a different time for you to come in and do that if you want to. I don't want you to feel any of the pressure to get them done, because it's no race to get them done, okay? Just getting the right answer is what we care about. Okay, a couple of things to take note of. A lot of people ask me about my rounding. You notice in the BABE, I was given whole numbers, so I rounded the mean to the first decimal place. Then, when I subtracted, I still just had one decimal place. When I squared it, my calculator gave me 2. So, whole numbers to one decimal place to 2, 2 to 3, and then back to the original is what I did. You don't have to do that. If you rounded, I will follow what you did. You'll get a slightly different answer than I did if you rounded differently than I did. But if you show me your work, I can find it, okay? So that's why you want to show me everything so I can see. If you rounded this to 44 at the beginning instead of 43.9, if I can see that's what you did, then I'll just make a note to myself that's what you did, and I'll follow your work through, okay? You want to make sure you show me this sum, because if the final answer is wrong, this is the first place I check. If this sum is wrong, I know the problem's back here. If this sum is correct, I know the problem's forward. The most common error, okay? The most common error is right here. N minus 1. People divide by n instead of n minus 1. That's the most common mistake people make. So you want to make sure that you always do n minus 1. If we look at these, we can see that Babe Ruth's standard deviation is 11.2, while Mark McGuire's was 18.5. What does that mean? He's more spread. This guy's more consistent. Okay, the Babe is a more consistent hitter than Mark McGuire was, because Mark McGuire's standard deviation is larger. So now you're beginning to see how to interpret the standard deviation. If somebody walks up to you, if I walked up to you and say, give me all your money, and I'm going to invest it, and your average rate of return is 60%, and you ask me for the standard deviation, and I say the standard deviation is 2%, that means most of the time you'll be up to 62 and down to 58. What if I told you, oh no, the standard deviation is 62%? Sometimes you could make 112% on return. What could happen to you sometimes? You could lose -2, right? Okay, I worked it back to the Bible. Okay, one story, then we'll talk about your homework. Worked it back to the Bible. And I had, I was a chief ministry advancement officer, so that I got all the calls. The switchboard didn't know where to send it. Okay, they sent me. So I get this call, Carter, we don't know who to send this to. Will you take the call? Okay. Guy on the other end of the phone says, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I work for this company. If you will give us your donor records, we will mine your donor records. And we will look at those people, we'll look at where they live, and we'll look at the average price of a house in their zip code, and we'll look to see if they've registered a yacht or a private plane. We'll look to see if they're on the board of directors of big corporations. So you can find hidden millionaires and ask them for more money. I said, really? He said, yeah. So you do this a lot? He said, oh yeah. He said, listen, charities that let us do this, on average, they increase their donations by 30%. The average increase, 30%. Oh yeah, that's a lot of money for a nonprofit. 30%. I said, what's the standard deviation on that? Long pause. I'm busy with phone. And then he says, 99%. Okay, 30%, 99% down. I could lose 99% if I don't think. I said, finally, there was a long pause on my end of the phone, right? Because I know he doesn't. And finally he says, maybe you ought to talk to the statistician. And I said to him, do you know who you called? This is back to the Bible. We're not giving anybody our donor list. Are you kidding me? And it's like, oh, no. But I was like, that was obvious. He did not know what he was talking about. Okay? Okay? So people will walk up to you and they'll tell you an average and they'll make it sound so great. You're going to get such a good deal. Put these windows on your house and you'll save 15% on your energy bill, right? And you turn around and ask them, what's the standard deviation on that? And they go, what? Right? If they said 50%, well, that means you could save 15% plus or minus 50%. You could actually have a worse bill. Okay? They obviously don't know what they're talking about. Okay? So this is one of those questions you can ask and find out really quickly if the person who's coming to you with those numbers really knows what they're talking about or not. Secondly, it's something that you can use. It's not really hard to do, right? I mean, it's a very simple procedure. Excel will do it for you. Your calculator will do it for you. Most calculators will. Okay? Your phone will probably do it. You put in the numbers and hit standard, you can probably get it. And you can see what's the deviation. You can do this with, take the electric bills for the last 12 months. And you can see what your average is and how much it deviates. Okay? You can take anything like that. Take your average, how much you spend on gas in a month, your gasoline, and you can see how much it deviates. And so you can kind of guess where it's going to be because you'll know the standard deviation of those numbers. You see why we would care about that number? So you can look at output at work, or calls answered by the call center, or patient load at the hospital, or whatever. You can look at a person, if you're in the counseling area, you can look at a person and see how many incidents they've had in the last year and the standard deviation of it, so you can know where they're going to vary between. That kind of. So there's lots of things you can do with standard deviation. It's a very powerful little statistic, okay? Now, I gave you a sheet that looks like this. These are just solved problems. So if you get home or you get a couple of days away from this, you're trying to figure out what's going on, here are some problems that you can try and see if you can get the right answer to. So you should have something like this that's got the answers on it. The other thing I gave you was, I gave you my notes, and then I gave you the homework. What do we do with it? I gave you the homework somewhere. Oh, here it is. Maybe? No? Oh, here it is. Notice the homework has a back. It should have a back. Hopefully yours has a back. It has a front and it has a back. Now you may want to do these problems, like I said, on separate sheets of paper so you can use the lines. A really common error is people making these numbers come together and they leave them out. Okay? So using lines will help you do that. But I've given you 5 problems on this guide to take home and practice. Your in-class test typically has 2. But I give you more to practice at home so that you make sure you know what you're doing. You also have to do this on your project, so you want to make sure you really know what you're doing. So there's these 5 problems. I do have the answer keys here for anybody who wants to stick around and try a few. This is all we're doing tonight. And this is as hard as the math gets. Okay?
I should hope so.
Now, listen. This is extraordinarily complex. I mean, you look at this formula. That's extraordinarily complex. But you can do it. Right? So don't you tell me you can't do math anymore. Okay? Because you can. Right? You can do it. So I'll just stick around and help anybody who needs help. The rest of you, if you want to go somewhere else, you can.
Do we need to have Mark McGuire done?
You don't have to, no. That's just an example we did in class. If you want to, I've actually had people in the past take a picture of the board. If you want to take a picture of it and try it at home, you can do that. Okay?
How much of the problems do you want on our answer? Do you want the numbers or do we have to?
Thanks.
You do not have to write the symbols.
Okay.
Okay? But if you do want to show me all your work in case you make a fat finger mistake or a math mistake, okay? So that I'll know. If you punch this in 162 point, right?
Right.
So you want to write this down. I know this is what you're trying to take the square root of. If it's not right, I'll know that you've got a mistake in me, okay? Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to be gone next week.
Okay, next week, yes.
So I have class on Tuesdays, Tuesdays,
Okay,
but I won't here Thursday.
okay.
Would I be able to come in like Monday and do my quiz for next week, or would you rather me do it when I get back?
I am usually not here on Mondays because I work Saturdays. I
Okay.
usually take Mondays off, but I can leave it at the front desk if you want me to do that.
Or could I come in
I'm here Tuesday.
Thursday after? Could
You
I come
can.
in early for
Yes, you
classes
can.
at 4:30?
But what we want to get to you is the information so you don't fall behind. Next week we do probability, which
Okay.
is a little difficult for some people to do. I do have that on video.
Okay.
And I probably do have that. If you want to wait 4 or 5 minutes, I probably go downstairs and burn it on a CD for you.
Okay, otherwise I am,
Or you can come back
can I,
and pick it.
like
You
Tuesday,
pick it up
you're in the
Tuesday.
office, I'm here, so.
Pick it up Tuesday night, that'd be
Okay.
great. I mean, I can note to myself
Are
that I'll.
you usually in the advisor's office?
That's where my office is. Sometimes I'm in the classroom,
Okay,
which is, I think on Tuesday nights, I'm in 202 right
I'll
next
look
door.
for ya.
I usually put a note on my door where I am,
Okay,
okay? But
perfect.
my office is there. Yeah.
thank you very much.
So, next week is Valentine's Day, which is also my
Woo-hoo.
wedding anniversary.
Oh, yes.
So, I'm probably not going to be in class next Thursday.
Okay.
You said we have the option of doing a Saturday.
You can come in on Saturday morning.
Okay.
It's at 8 o'clock in this
Because I
room.
was thinking about doing the video thing, but it's easier if my butt's sitting in here and I'm watching you do
Okay,
this stuff.
yeah, yeah. So come on Saturday.
So what time? is-
8 o'clock, it starts at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. And, you know, if you can't, if something happens, you can't get here right at 8, they take the test first. So you can always just take the test after. So if you come at 9, you'll just know you're going to take the test after the class. The only problem with that is you'll be sitting here through class and your mind will get away from this stuff. And since it's the hardest math, you maybe want to be here and do that. Okay?
So this is what I'm doing Saturday morning then.
Saturday morning.
Okay.
Not this Saturday morning, but a week.
Oh, not this Saturday
No,
morning?
this Saturday morning, they're going to do the same thing. They
Okay,
have the
so
same.
you're a week behind.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Your class is first, right? And then
Okay.
their class. So this Saturday, they will do standard deviation. You're going to not come next week and come the following Saturday, okay? Does that make sense? So you have to sleep in this Saturday.
Good.
I missed econ last night.
You
I
did!
have the exam done.
That's all right, okay. And I can run downstairs and get you your other stuff. I saw your email and I thought, oh, I need to take that upstairs, and I just didn't get a chance to do it because I was a little bit busy, but